Strong Dads wants to thank Quality Auto Mart for joining us as a sponsor. Quality Auto Mart was born in 1985. They are owned and operated by Mark and Nancy Repke. Quality Auto Mart provides all the services, repairs, and maintenance for your vehicle's needs with a 3-year auto parts and labor warranty. They offer complimentary vehicle safety inspection and estimates. Also, they offer a shuttle service and the 4th oil change is always on them. They are located at 7307 on State Road 46 in Batesville, Indiana. Make sure you give them a call at 812-934-2301.
Welcome to Strong Dads. Here we go. Week number 7 with the summer series of the parables of Jesus. This one's going to knock your socks off because some of you would like to think that this is not going to happen in your world. Guess what? You've been promised that it is going to happen in your world, and you've been promised that by the one and only Jesus Christ. So I'll let you argue with him because I'm not going to argue with you, all right? That's really why we're doing these parables, because so often when we read things in Scripture especially, we kind of go, well, I don't know if I believe that. And I want you to just think about how arrogant that sounds when you're actually questioning Christ, who claims to be the Son of God. One of you is wrong, okay? I'm just going to say, if you're questioning Christ, one of you is wrong. I know where I'm putting my money, okay? So, guys, we are jumping into the 7th week, and so we're talking about the parable of the sheep and the goats. So you've heard about the lost sheep and that kind of thing. This is a little bit different because this has to do with something that all of us are going to have to face at some point in time. All right, let me thank our sponsors. We want to thank the Casey Outdoor Solutions landscape guys, and we want to thank Quality Auto Mart for coming alongside of the Strong Dads podcast. So check out the guys at Quality Auto Mart for any of your automotive needs, or for any of your landscape needs, check out Casey's Outdoor Solutions. All right, very good. So let's get this together, and let me put our parable out there for you guys. So we're going to be in Matthew 25, and we're going to be reading verses 31 through 46. So it's Matthew 25, verses 31 through 46. All right. It's called The Sheep and the Goats. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him. And he will separate the people from one another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes or clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go visit you?" The king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Then he will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison and you did not come look after me." They also will answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or needing clothes, or sick, or in prison, and did not help you?" He will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." Then they will go away to eternal punishment, for the righteous to eternal life. Oh, man. Wow. Some people, guys, do not like the idea that there's going to be a judgment day. Some people would like to think that, one, either we all just eat dirt when we die and there's nothing after that. We're just going to go rot. Some people are like, well, I don't, that judgment thing seems a little bit over the top. I think we're all going to get to heaven somehow. Some are just going to take longer than others. All right. Listen, I'm not there to see it. What I'm doing here is I'm going off of the words of Christ, okay? And so he makes a very clear distinction on sheep and goats, and he makes a distinction based off of what they were doing, okay? What they were actually doing with whatever they've been given, okay? And so, first off, I don't like the idea that I'm going to be judged. How about you? Do you like to stand up in front of the crowd and be judged? Have you ever been booed? That's not really a pleasant feeling, okay? Can you imagine being booed at the level of eternity to heaven or hell? Wow, that's a little risque, okay? So we know now that we are going to be judged because Christ says so, all right? But Christ makes it a whole lot easier than that, because if I were going to be judged, but I didn't know on what criteria I was going to be judged, I'd be like, well, come on, I need the cheat sheet here. I need to know the notes. I got to be able to study. I have to have something to know what I'm going to be judged on. And this is where Christ actually tells us what we're going to be judged on, okay? And so let's be really clear. He tells us that you're going to be judged as a goat or a sheep based off of how you are treating people. Did you get that? Based off of how you are treating people today. When you treat people nasty, when you don't feed them, when you don't clothe them, when you cast them out, when you are just nasty to them, you are doing that to Christ, is what he's saying. You're doing it to me, he says, all right? But when you're taking time to serve somebody, to take care of somebody, to think about how somebody needs something and you help to provide that, you also did that for Christ. And it is how you treat these people. Hear me, guys. It's how we treat others in service or lack thereof that determines whether we are going to go on the right side as a sheep or the left side as a goat. All right. And so, a lot of times people just don't want to hear that stuff because it seems harsh. But every one of us, something in us intrinsically says we want justice. In an earlier parable, we talked about fairness, if something's fair or not fair. And so it's in our nature to say, well, I want things to be fair. I want to be treated right. We're quick and full of judgment of people. Nobody had to tell us to do that. It becomes very natural to people to judge. And there is a discernment that does need to take place, but a judgment here is a judgment for the final bit of your work, for your lifetime. Okay, like what have you been doing? And I think this is something that we should take a little bit of time to think, I read my Bible, I go to church, I'm pretty nice to most people. What are we really doing? Do we have that reputation of just being a jerk, of being a miser, of not supporting and giving generously? What are we really doing? Are we all holier than thou with the word, but the actual friend that we are or family member that we are is pretty cheap or pretty weak? Listen, once again, the parable convicts me. Guilty at certain times in certain areas, all right? The judgment is going to be there, and we are said that we're going to have to give an account for what we did. The time when by the way, like sometimes we commit sin. A lot of times we commit sin through omitting action. And so we talk about sins of commission and sins of omission. I probably would say that I am guilty for sins of omission far more than I am guilty of sins of commission. In other words, things I know I should be doing, but I simply don't do. All right. And so this is that part where it's like, wow, I got some things I need to work on here. I need to brush up on my awareness, my empathy, in other words, seeing things through other people's eyes so that I can see, oh, what do they need? And then what can I help to provide to meet that need? Or am I just walking right past them because I'm more focused on what my own need is, or probably more likely my own want? All right. So, all right. That pretty much wraps up the whole idea here of the sheep and the goats. And I think, once again, man, these are the words of Christ. And if these don't convict you, then you're pretty hard. All right. So I challenge you to listen, check it out, see what you think. And before you start pointing the finger at the old goat sitting over on the left side, you might want to take a closer look to see what kind of goat you're carrying around with you. All right. I hope this makes sense to you. I hope it's good. We will continue to be knocking out our parables here over the next several weeks. So please tune in. And if you need help in any way with coaching, marital work, parenting work, getting fit, coming into the gym, all of that is part of Rock Solid Families. We do faith, family, and fitness. So please come on in, check us out. You can give us a call at 812-576-7625, or you can check us out on our website at rocksolidfamilies.org. So that's all I've got for you guys today. So go out there and be a strong dad. Casey's is a premier garden center and gift shop located in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Casey's offers a wide selection of plants, landscaping materials, home and garden decor, and gifts for every occasion. Casey's is committed to providing exceptional service, a unique shopping experience, and value to every customer. Stop in and see what makes Casey's so unique. Located at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, or call 812-537-3800. Let Casey's help you add beauty to your home.